Welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. It's a beautiful day, November 18th, and we do have some very important things to talk about here today. And I do want to preface this whole conversation by saying, do not trade using leverage or even trade at all if you have no successful history of prior trading. What you should be doing is setting up a testnet account or a paper account, which you can do that for free for a limited time by downloading our mobile app. There's a link in the description below. Right? You don't have to risk real money. You can start with play money, come up with a successful plan by speaking to a Bitcoin advisor. Then you can feel comfortable with all the basics. Then you might consider playing with some real money. And always keep this in mind. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, because if you don't know what you're doing, most likely Coinbase or whichever exchange is going to be the beneficiary of your misfortunes. And we'll get into some of the hotter altcoins towards the end of this video. And what do we have here? Bitcoin still around 60,000 bucks, more like 59 right now. And you can't get too fearful when Bitcoin is sitting, at, in my opinion, Bitcoin's hanging in there at all-time highs. For those of you who are new around here, please remember Bitcoin a year ago, right? A year ago, Bitcoin was, let's put it up here on the weekly. A year ago in November, Bitcoin was at $15,000, right? So yeah, can we come down from here? Absolutely. And there's going to be ebbs and flows in this market, and it's one leg at a time. We just had a major leg up, an unabated run from $30,000 to, $69,000. So yeah, I would expect for another day or two of some kind of, what we'd call boring price action. We're hanging out in this region right here between, $60,000 and $58,000. And, what do I want to start off with today? Let's just take a look at our Bitcoin dominance chart, which we did say we were expecting this to head on up here, any kind of a daily closure above 44 and the next leg up. I mean, we're looking for a big leg up on Bitcoin dominance, especially if this market is going to continue to be healthy. We do have the fear and greed index coming in here. It's actually had the biggest tick down that we have seen here in quite some time. So it's at a 54, down from a 71 yesterday. And what I will show you is over the last year, keep in mind, so we're about halfway down the leg to the lows. The low side here came in at about a fearful read of 10. So when people are, right, being more fearful, that's the time to be greedy. Look at the last time. That was in July of last year when we reached that maximum fear point. And let's line that up on our Bitcoin chart. Let's see, July of last year. Oh, look at that. July of last year, Bitcoin at 30,000. And then I believe the next read was somewhere around 40,000 when we got a read back down around 24 in September. So again, just using all these indicators in confluence with each other, that's what helps us give us a general bias. So another thing to note, open interest is at 14.74 billion, near the all-time highs. The global leverage ratio is still at all-time highs. So again, I am expecting a big move incoming here. And we did say the bulls need to take over this week, if not today or yesterday, by making a daily closure back above 65,000. But I would say again, as long as Bitcoin is holding this $58,000 region, I'm looking for that bounce to, to play out here somewhere back up around 63, 64,000. But then it is going to be a game of, is Bitcoin going to put in another lower high? And do I think Bitcoin could take a tumble down to 55,000 or 50,000? Yes, I would still be looking at it as a major buying opportunity. Another thing is, the global exchange outflows, that's coins being pulled off of exchanges into a hard or hot wallet. Yesterday, 10,000 coins were pulled off exchanges. That was an all-time high, which is bullish. Coins off exchanges are usually for a long-term hold, and that implies long-term hodling. So how can we tell if this is going to be a bear trap? Well, again, it just starts with a daily closure back above 65.5 or 65,000. And how do we identify lows going to be put in? Well, what we want to do is see at least 3 drives of bullish divergence on the 4-hour, and I believe it's more clearly seen on CMEs here. So what is bullish divergence? So bullish divergence is as price is making lower lows, which you can see we have a slew of lower lows here, and I'll even draw it out for you. So that's lower lows, right? And then what you'd want to see is the RSI making higher lows. And it looks like we have about 4 drives of bullish divergence, and that would be giving me the overall bias that we do get a bounce here. So where do I want to take it from here? So again, it will be, when we do get this bounce, it will be the game of, is Bitcoin going to put in another lower high, or can Bitcoin get a closure back above that last 4-hour spike high? It's coming in at 66,000 there. That's how you identify a bear trap. 4-hour closure back above 66,000 on CMEs. I believe it's 65 on spot price. So another thing to note here, you got BBBWP, our volatility indicator is contracting. So again, that does give me the bias that, hey, we might play out some sideways for the next day or two as volatility is contracting. Yeah, so I do think it's very likely Bitcoin does hold this region. And we just want to be mindful, right now on the daily time frame, right? And I'll just take off some of these indicators so it's a little easier to see. On the daily time frame, are we in an uptrend or a downtrend? So what is an uptrend? An uptrend is this. We got higher highs, right? We got the first higher high, about right, call it right here. And then we've got a higher low on the daily time frame. Another higher low, we got higher high, and then that was the higher high, but here's our first lower low. So again, trend identification is very, very important. And if you can identify the trend, we'll let the trend be your friend. And that's why it's very important we identify if another lower high comes in. And I'll just show you what happened back in, are we going to make it on spot price action? It'll be a little easier to see, but what you can see here is in 2017, the bull run where Bitcoin, ran all the way from, what was it, $200 to $20,000. The first way we identified the trend reversal, right? We got this higher high, you got the higher lows, higher highs, right? Here's our first lower low. And then what happened? We put in a lower high right there, and that was our trend reversal right there, and that was pretty nasty. And then you can actually see the last one, another trend reversal, and I'll just zoom out a little bit. That was back in 2018. But the most recent here was back in, let's see, it was back in May of 2020 here, just this year. So we were getting these higher lows here. Let's put this one here. So higher low there, higher low, higher high. Here's our first lower low. Then we put in the lower high, trend reversal, and boom, down 50%. So do I think that's what's going to happen here? No. Why? Again, because of our macro indicator, our pi cycle top indicator, which I will bring up here on the BLX index, and the pi cycle top indicator. So what we are looking for a macro top to be put in, the last one we saw back in, call it April this year. We want this blue line to start to have a downward slope. And where are we at right now? We're not even at a negative slope, and this thing can run for some time. And really, we want it to get around 10, when this blue line gets around, I think it's around 10% to the price action. That's when you really start to know, hey, look, something's about to happen. Something on the macro scale is about to change, and we're going to be keeping a close eye on that. So I'm still, macro bullish on Bitcoin, and I do want to keep our attention on that throughout the remaining months. And getting back onto our primary chart here, I do want to take off a few things here. And so what do we have here? Kind of the same setup, right? And I would say that if we grind out the lows here, right? If we grind out the lows at 58, 59,000, if we get that, if this breaks down here, I'm looking for this next level to get hit at 55,000, any kind of a daily closure below 58. If this level breaks here, I'm looking for a move back down to 49 to 50,000. And if that area gets taken out right here, that's kind of the last of the Mohicans if that area gets taken out. But again, I'm not expecting that to happen. I am macro bullish as long as we're closing dailies above 50,000, which is right around this region. So it is typical for Bitcoin to have those 15 to 30% corrections. Just be aware of that. And what else? Something else to note here is option expiration is the third Friday of every month, around the 30th of every month. And Bitcoin tends to put in some major lows around that time. And you can go look back, around the 20th of every month. It's been pretty stock standard for a low to be put in over the last year. So are you bullish or bearish on this asset long term? I am for sure bullish. Bitcoin has a $400 trillion addressable market. And when they tokenize real estate, stocks, bonds, credit cards, international transfers, throw on top of that the metaverse, gaming coins. I mean, that's why I believe it's so important to learn about Bitcoin's price action. Bitcoin does rule the market. So if you can predict where Bitcoin's price is going, well, it gives you a glimpse into our future economy. And I hope that makes some sense. So it's like, why not learn about the most important invention in human history, right? You couldn't have learned about it in school. Now's your chance. So I hope you'll continue on this journey with us, become a member of Bitcoin Advisors community, download the app, like and subscribe. All right, with that said, we're going to look at a few of the hot altcoins, and this isn't investment advice, and this isn't any type of endorsement. Okay, so first one I want to bring our attention to is CRO. Crypto.com, the credit card for your crypto, symbol CRO. And something just actually hit me yesterday when a friend of mine called me and he said he saw the Staples Center sign being ripped down. Crazy, right? We're talking about the Staples Center is now the Crypto.com Center. And you can check out this article right here. Crypto.com buys naming rights to the Staples Center in Los Angeles, reportedly paying $700 million over the next 20 years. Not bad. And, what I would say, New York, Texas, and Miami, they're all vowing to make their states a crypto hub. And I hope California joins the party. However, I don't think Pelosi or Newsom are going to put two and two together anytime soon. So again, CRO versus US dollar. And yes, I would expect this move to move onwards and upwards as long as we're closing dailies above 50 cents here to ruin the surprise. But on a 4-hour, it looks like we just did get a little pullback. So we are testing the top side of the range, which is perfectly fine. And in fact, I wouldn't mind if it came down to 47 cents. But on a 4-hour, but as long as 50 cents is maintained, I am looking for trend continuation alongside what do we have? Volatility is expanding And what do we have? Momentum oscillators crossing down on the 4-hour, but on the daily, momentum is up. On the weekly, we got momentum cross. Oh, might cross down there. And let's see where we're at with the Bollinger Bands. And we are closing above the top side Bollinger Band, expand. That is implying more trend continuation. So, I'm looking at the deep 60s, maybe 70 cents as long as 50 cents hold. So on the daily, again, a little bit of a backfill, and that would be perfectly okay. And if you look at this thing on the weekly, you can see, I mean, literally, it's one of the best charts we have seen. I'm going to take these off. I mean, look at this thing on a weekly. So that Crypto.com looks rather bullish. AVAX, another relatively strong mover here. I mean, look at this on a weekly. This is Avalanche, symbol AVAX. And what do we have here? And we did have this chart charted out the other day. Let's see if this is the one. Yep. And, it's like, what do you know? The strong are getting stronger. And what do we have here? A little bit of backfill on yesterday's closure, right? So as long as today, closes back above the top side of the range at, call it $100, I'd say we are great. And we did say yesterday that if we had a daily closure above 107, that we would be looking for a move up to about $1.23, and I believe, is that off the 4-hour consolidation? Yeah, let's take a measure move off the 4-hour, which we're testing very similarly. We're just testing that breakout level. We hit our first target there, come back and test the top side of the support level, and that next target is at 126. So I imagine somewhere between 123 and 126, as long as 50 cents holds and invalidation comes below 88 cents. Another one I want to take a look at is Mana, the metaverse coin. We did put out, or we're going to put out a educational video on this one shortly. And we did say yesterday we were caught in a range between 308 and 367. And if we had any kind of a daily closure back above 367, we are looking for a measure move up to about $4.20. Just curious what the fib retracement on this consolidation looks like from that point. So yeah, that's 427 is the next target, and then 540. So that would look very nice if we do. However, if we do, again, break 240 to the downside, that could look really nasty. And again, I don't think that's what's happening here. Last one I want to follow up here on Sandbox. And we did say we had this ascending triangle here, right? And we talked about, ascending triangles, they do have a 75% chance of breaking to the upside, and the measure move would bring us up to about $4.30, which is, well, actually, I think we had it down a little bit lower, around, I think we said around $4.10. So close enough is close enough. And I wasn't expecting that to get hit overnight, but sometimes it happens sooner than later. That is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's market analysis. Make sure you tune back in tomorrow for some more great crypto analysis. And don't forget to throw down a like and subscribe. Post a comment if you have any questions. Wishing you a wonderful, blessed day. Take care.